In a world awash in platitudes and easy answers, we are often told that everything happens for a reason, that we live in the best of all possible worlds. It's a comforting thought, a balm for the wounds of tragedy. But is it true? And what is the cost of such a belief in a universe that seems indifferent to our suffering? History has given us a voice of dissent, a wit, a cynic, and a fierce advocate for justice who wielded his pen like a sword, cutting through layers of philosophical absurdity and human cruelty. His name is synonymous with the Enlightenment, but his masterpiece is a brutal, hilarious assault on the very optimism that defined his age. Today, we step into the garden of a man who taught us that the world is a stage of absurdity, and our only sane response is not to believe, but to act. We have a rare opportunity to sit down with François-Marie Arouet, better known as Voltaire, to discuss his timeless satire, Candide. Born in Paris in 1694, François-Marie Arouet was a man of extraordinary intellect and fiery wit. He adopted the pen name Voltaire and quickly became one of the most celebrated and feared writers in Europe. His sharp satire and critiques of religious intolerance and political tyranny often landed him in trouble with the authorities, leading to imprisonments in the Bastille and periods of exile. Despite his confrontations with power, Voltaire was a tireless champion of individual liberty, freedom of speech, and justice. He wrote with incredible speed and passion, producing an immense body of work that included plays, poems, historical accounts, and philosophical treatises. His most enduring legacy, however, is his unflinching defense of reason and his relentless battle against prejudice and injustice, which he pursued until his death in 1778. Our conversation today will be centered on Voltaire's most famous and enduring work, Candide, ou l'Optimisme. Published in 1759, this satirical novella follows the misadventures of its naive hero, Candide, as he journeys across the world and experiences every possible form of human cruelty and suffering. The story is a direct attack on the philosophical optimism of Gottfried Leibniz, whose idea that this is the best of all possible worlds was a popular belief at the time. Through a series of increasingly absurd and tragic events, Voltaire poses a simple, yet devastating question. How can we believe in a perfect world when we are surrounded by so much pain?
Monsieur Voltaire, thank you for your time. Candide is a masterpiece of satire, but it is also a very bleak story. What was your motivation for writing it?
I wrote it to mock the absurd philosophy of optimism. I was wary of men like Dr. Pangloss, who, even as they are being tortured and starved, insist that all is for the best and that we are in the best of all possible worlds. My poor Candide experienced every possible horror: war, disease, natural disaster. And yet, through it all, he was told it was all for a divine, perfect plan. It is a philosophy that insults suffering and denies reality.
You directly target the philosophy of Leibniz. Why did you find his ideas so dangerous?
Leibniz's philosophy, though intellectually elegant, is a moral abomination. It absolves God of all responsibility for evil. It teaches us to accept all calamities, all tyrannies, all injustices as necessary components of a perfect plan. It is the philosophy of lazy resignation. I say, if this is the best of all possible worlds, what are the others like? I would rather not know.
Your character Pangloss is a symbol of this blind optimism. Was he a caricature of real thinkers?
Pangloss is a monument to all those who would rather rationalize away suffering than confront it. He is the voice of dogmatic certainty. He represents the kind of philosophical arrogance that believes it has the universe figured out, even when the facts on the ground tell a different story.
Your novel suggests that suffering is everywhere. Was there any hope for humanity in your view?
Hope is not a passive thing. My novel's conclusion is not a surrender to despair. Candide does not find happiness in abstract philosophical reasoning, but in concrete action. He learns that the only way to find meaning in this absurd world is to cultivate our garden.
What do you mean by that? What does it mean to cultivate our garden?
It means to abandon metaphysical speculation and to focus on the practical. It is an act of defiance against a chaotic world. It means working with your hands, building something, and contributing to the small, tangible world around you. It is a rejection of grand theories for the simple, fulfilling act of doing.
In your travels, you saw great human misery from wars to the Lisbon earthquake. Did these events solidify your cynical view?
The Lisbon earthquake was a terrible blow to my optimism and to the optimism of Europe. Thousands of people died, and yet the theologians and philosophers still insisted it was all for the best. My own view is that it is a scandal to human reason. It is not an act of God, but a terrible, incomprehensible fact of nature.
Your satire is often biting and relentless. Do you believe laughter is a tool for change?
Laughter is the most powerful weapon against tyranny and folly. Reason is a serious matter, but when it is used to justify absurdity, ridicule is the only appropriate response. I would rather make people laugh at a tyrant than fear him. A man who is laughed at loses his power.
Your novel is a criticism of blind faith. What is the right balance between reason and faith?
One must have faith in reason itself. My criticism is not against all faith, but the kind of faith that is used to ignore the clear evidence of one's eyes. Faith must be a guide to action, not a sedative for the mind.
You were a strong advocate for justice. How did your personal experiences with censorship and imprisonment shape your views on liberty?
They taught me that the fight for justice is never ending. The moment you believe you have won, you are in danger of losing. My time in the Bastille only strengthened my resolve to fight for the rights of the individual against the abuses of power, both from the church and the state.
You wrote many plays and stories in addition to your philosophical works. Did you believe art and philosophy should be separate?
On the contrary, my philosophy is best expressed in my art. My goal was not to lecture, but to make people feel, to make them laugh and cry. A story can reach a man's heart in a way that a philosophical treatise cannot. I use satire to make my points, to show the absurdity of the world, to make people think for themselves.
You were a friend and rival of many of the great thinkers of your time, including Rousseau. What did you think of his idea of the noble savage?
I believe that man is a product of his society, not a simple, unspoiled creature of nature. Man is an animal, but a rational one, and it is in society that he finds his dignity, not in a state of nature. The idea of the noble savage is a romantic illusion, a delusion that ignores the real problems of human society.
You were a champion of the common man, and you fought for justice against the powerful. Do you believe that your legacy lives on?
I believe that my spirit lives on in every man and woman who dares to speak out against injustice and who refuses to accept the world as it is. I am in the spirit of every person who fights for freedom and who believes that a better world is possible, not through faith, but through hard work and courage.
How would you advise today's generation, which faces immense global suffering from war, disease, and political conflict?
I would say that the world has not changed. The suffering is still there, and the philosophies that seek to rationalize it away are still in vogue. My message is the same. Do not surrender to despair. Do not simply believe that everything will be all right. Act. Fight injustice where you see it. Build something beautiful. And remember, it is a great crime to be a coward. Your future is not in the hands of others, but in your own.
Many in our time say that in a world of misinformation and social media, satire like yours is not just a tool for change, but also a source of confusion. What would you say to this?
I would say that a fool is always a fool, and a man who is easily confused will always find something to be confused about. My satire was meant to make men think, to force them to look at the world with a critical eye. If they are so lazy that they cannot distinguish between truth and falsehood, then the fault is not in the satire, but in the man. I would say be a man of reason. Do not be a parrot.
Closing reflections and summary. And so, our time with Voltaire concludes. His philosophy, though often mistaken for pure cynicism, is in fact a profound call to action. He does not ask us to abandon hope, but to abandon a lazy, passive version of it. He argues that true meaning and peace are not found in abstract philosophical systems, but in the tangible work of making the world a better place, one small act at a time. His legacy is more than his philosophy. It is his spirit, a spirit that refuses to accept injustice, and a mind that wielded wit as a weapon against cruelty. His words remind us that it is not enough to believe that everything is for the best. We must work to make it so. Thank you for being a part of this journey, and until our next dialogue, keep questioning.